Well, good afternoon. Thank you very much for attending. What you see on the screen is the city of Cerro de Pasco. It's 4,400 meters above sea level in the Andes of Peru. It's a city, but it's also a mine. The Spanish came up there in 1630. They saw that big mass of lead, zinc, copper, gold, and silver, and they start mining this. That mine has never stopped its operation since then, 400 years. I don't know one mine in the world that have such a statistics. In 1906, Mr. J.P. Morgan himself made what they still call the greatest investment of the 20th century in Peru. He invested tens of millions of dollars in that mine. The Americans have sent the best engineers, the best geologists, the best equipment. Cerro de Pasco at the time became the largest gold, copper, silver mine in the world. It was the school of all the mines. Everybody wants to work at Cerro de Pasco. They extracted from that pit that you see there 300 million tons over the years. Well, this is a forward-looking statement that the authorities recommend to add to our PowerPoint presentation. So I suggest you to check our website, go on the PowerPoint presentation and read it. So I just mentioned that they extracted 300 million tons out of that pit. Some of it was processed, 75 million tons. Some of it was not processed. That was ore and waste, 104 million tons. And there was an additional 100 million tons where they tried to separate the pyrite from the oxide. Please remember here the shape of the art. And I'm going to show you a satellite picture. So here's that art, so that's the stockpile. And what you see in orange here is the tailing. So what we own, Cerro de Pasco, we own the mineral rights on the stockpile and the tailings. In fact, we own the mineral rights on the largest above ground mineral resource in the world. In 2019, the pit was shut down. By the way, this operation, the pit is owned by Volcan, which is owned at 80% by Glencore. In 2019, we wanted to buy the whole thing. Why? Because we need those two facilities. There's two flotation facilities that can handle, well, they used to handle 13,000 tons per day. Today, they run at 2,000 tons per day. They do not want to shut this down. Why? If Volcan Glencore shut those facilities down, they will have to do a closure plan. This is going to cost them more than $500 million. There's a solution here. We are going to process the whole thing. Our tailings, our stockpile, their low-grade stockpile, we're going to do that over a period of 25 years. So the $500 million closure plan will be absorbed into those processing costs. So in 2019, as I mentioned, we want to buy the whole thing. Why? We need the flotation facilities. So we were to buy the two flotation facilities for $1 US. And we were to buy the oxide plant for $140 million US. Why this number? Well, that operation was to earn $280 million over the next 7 years. So if you discount $280 million, it's $140 million today. So this was going to be financed by Glencore and Volcan. So in March 2020, we were ready to sign that transaction. What happened in March 2020? COVID. So most of the mine, in fact, all the mines in Peru were shut down. Peru was the most affected country on the planet by COVID. Most affected country per capita. Why? It's a mining country. People go in cages, they eat underground, they travel in buses, they're close by. So all the mines were shut down. So we were just about to sign the transaction. We didn't sign it. Personally, I thought COVID was going to last 2 weeks, but it continues. So that means no ore, no money, no stream, no deal. We end up not making a deal, except we spend 4 months in the offices of Volcan with 2 mining engineers and 2 geologists doing due diligence. So we took all the monthly report from 1906 until 1992. And we end up with those numbers. So you can see here what was the head grade. Was this ever a rich mine? So they processed 75 million tons at 4% copper, 3.3% lead, 8.6% zinc, I would say 5 ounces silver, 3 gram gold. And we know from those monthly reports precisely what they have recovered. Why the recovery was so bad? Well, in fact, they were going on the volume. They were extracting, they were mining aggressively. They were extracting 20,000 tons per day from that pit, and they were processing 13,000. And they were doing flotation on a period of 24 hours. Then they were changing the batch, change batch. Like sometime if you float for 48 hours, you will get better recovery. But they were going on the volume. Plus, let's recall this was 1906. They were grinding at 80 mesh, like it was 2 cores. The regions, the technologies were not what they are today. So that's why they had such bad recovery. But at the end of the day, we know precisely what is left in that tailing. So you got it here, 1.6% copper, 1.3% lead, 2.2% zinc, 3 ounces silver, 1.2 gram gold. By the way, this is a higher number than most of the underground mine in the world. So if you put the copper, the lead, the zinc, and the gold into silver equivalent, you end up with 451 million ounces of silver equivalent. This is, by the way, $11 billion worth of metals above ground. Let's recall that producing base metal or precious metal, 40% of the cost is mining. There's no more mining here. It's done. So what's left to do here? So we need now to transform that resource into a 43-101 resource. So we need to perform those 40 holes. So to perform those 40 holes, we had to go first to complete what they call a Declaración de Impacto Ambiental, which is an impact in environmental study. It's done. We received the drilling permit from Minister of Energy and Mine, done. The only thing what's left to do is to get the access to the ground. So why we used to have a market cap of $150 million 2 years ago. Our market cap today is $40 million Canadian. Why is that? It took us a long time to get the access to the ground. Why is that? And here I have to go back in time. In 1970, government of Peru, through Centro Min, has privatized a lot of mine, including Cerro de Pasco. Not privatized, I mean nationalize a lot of mine, including Cerro de Pasco. Centro Min works well, works well, works well. If you remember 1999, I remember, price of gold went to $262 US per ounce. All price of metals went down. The government could not mine this anymore. You need miners. You need Canadians. You need Australian. You need Americans. You need miners. Anyway, they end up selling the mine to Volcan, which is one of the largest zinc producers in the world. Local producer. So they sold that mine in 1999. At this time, reprocessing tailings was not common at all. So nobody wants of that tailings. So Volcan bought the pit and they left that tailings and that stockpile. Somebody has to take care of the acid water here. That tailing is 50% pyrite. That stockpile is 50% pyrite. Every day it rains or it snows, it produces acid water. So the government of Peru created that independent entity called Activos Mineros, entrusted to take care of historic liabilities. So you see that line in green here? So they gave that land to Activos Mineros, and they mandate Activos Mineros to close the area. So on one hand, you've got Activos Mineros that has to close that area, and on the other hand, you got us that have irrevocable rights on everything above ground. So there are two things in the same law that oppose. So we had to go to a long process. It took us 2 years to get the opinion of 4 different ministers, so we can write a resolution and change the law. So since it took us 2 years, this is when we lost our market cap. The metals that are there, the 451 million ounces of silver equivalent, are not gone. They're still there, except people kind of lost confidence. If you check our website, you will see there was a Twitter, or there will be a Twitter, and I think during PDAC, the Minister of Energy and Mines going to announce something with regards to access to the ground. We're winning this battle, okay? We should regain our market cap. So when we finish performing those 40 holes, we're going to produce a PEA by Q3 2024. And we should end up from our model with those numbers. I invite you to check here. Just the Quilacocha tailing, that column, you go to the NPV and you end up with a $1.4 billion NPV. That will be the value of the company in Q3 2024. We're trading at $40 million market cap now. There should be some adjustment at some point. What I like into that project also, it's diversified. There's zinc, there's silver, there's copper, there's gold. Zinc was so bad last year, but we had copper, we had silver, so we always can escape in bad markets. Let's make a quick calculation here. Just check the numbers I gave to you. Just check that column. So we've got 1.6% zinc, 0.86% lead, 1.8 ounce silver, 0.012 ounce gold, 0.08% copper. So less recovery. We figure out we're going to recover 41.5%. I think we will do better. Less treatment charge, recovery charge, which is generally 28%, we end up with an NSR at $39 per ton. Less few other costs, including sustaining and G&A. The profit per ton should be $29 US per ton. Multiplied by 75 million tons, it's $2.175 billion US. At 10,000 ton per day, it's $104 million cash flow per year. At 25,000 ton per day, it's $261 million cash flow per year. That's printing cash here. So this is how we're going to do that. It was mined historically aggressively. What you see in orange is the tailing. So we're going to make that hole. It's going to naturally fill with water, and we're going to bring a ponton. We're going to create that mud. We know we've got two flotation facilities 1 kilometer behind us. So we're going to pump that mud. If you check here, we're going to create that mud and pump that mud 24 hours a day, 10,000 tons per day per pump. No noise, no dynamite, no dust, no trucking. Do you imagine the people of Cerro de Pasco? They love us. So we're starting here from one of the worst ecological mining catastrophe in the world, Cerro de Pasco. And we're going to transform into, inside 25 years, that community into what you see there. I've done many, many, many projects. I've listed 11 companies in my life. I've never seen such an ambitious and lucrative project for our shareholder. At the end of the day, we're going to create the wealth back in Cerro de Pasco. That mine used to employ 7,000 people. Today, barely 500 people work at the mine. So we're going to create the wealth back in Cerro de Pasco. We're going to take care of the acid water. It's $6 million per year. In 25 years, there's no more acid water. It's gone. It's gone. We've cleaned up the whole thing. We're going to give the government $25 million US income tax, since we're going to generate $104 million cash flow per year. We might produce some sulfuric acid. We might produce some green hydrogen. And this will be very beneficial for our shareholder. So that project, it's win, 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 win all the way. I just named you 7 winning conditions here. So just want to let you know that we also own and we bought from Trevally the Santander mine, which is today in care and maintenance. We're going to move from the magistral deposit to the Santander pipe. Okay, we just need, well, in fact, we just need $30 million, of which we have found so far 20 million. We're focusing right now on getting that Goulet going, and we'll go back to our Santander project after. Well, I've been to Peru many times. Anything you see on TV, it's difficult to get a permit in Peru. But check those companies there. When you get your permit, it's solid. That's why you see international company going there. As long as you pay your tax, you're okay. We do have 345 million shares outstanding, of which 36% is owned by management and insiders. This is us.